My ex is demanding I pay her $10,000 because she invested in our relationship. I never thought I'd be sharing something like this. I feel like I'm living in some bizarre alternate universe where the lines between reality and madness are starting to blur. The situation with my ex-girlfriend Laura, 27F, has escalated to a level I couldn't even begin to imagine when we broke up 3 months ago. To sum it up, she's now demanding I pay her $10,000 because, according to her, she invested in our relationship. I need your help to understand if I'm completely out of touch here or if she's actually lost it. This situation has spiraled to the point where I'm legitimately concerned about my personal and professional life, and I don't know how to handle it. Buckle up, this is going to be a long one. I, 28M, met Laura during my second year of college. She was bright, driven, and ambitious, just like me. We clicked immediately, and our connection felt like something out of a rom-com. We were both studying business administration, had similar social circles, and spent most of our free time together. Honestly, she was the kind of person I could talk to about anything: career goals, personal dreams, fears. At the time, I thought we were perfect for each other. Our relationship was pretty solid for the first year. We made memories, traveled together, supported each other through exams, family issues, and even some minor health scares. The usual ups and downs that come with being in your 20s. But somewhere around the 1.5-year mark, I started noticing some cracks. Laura started to be more controlling about how I spent my time. At first, it was small stuff, getting upset if I spent too much time with friends, asking why I didn't call her more often when I was at work, complaining that I wasn't as emotionally available as she wanted me to be. But over time, it became more suffocating. I'll be honest, I didn't recognize it as controlling behavior at first. I thought I just wasn't meeting her emotional needs, or maybe I was being neglectful. So, I did my best to accommodate her. I made more time for phone calls. I adjusted my work schedule to be home earlier. I even stopped hanging out with friends as much to avoid conflict. But it never felt like it was enough for her. It seemed like there was always something else I could have done, something I hadn't done, or something she needed me to change about myself. By the time we moved in together in the middle of our second year, the relationship had become increasingly draining. Laura began criticizing my career choices, constantly questioning whether I was doing enough to build our future. She would make offhand comments about how I needed to make more money or how I wasn't taking my job seriously enough. Eventually, the tension between us reached a breaking point. We had a huge blowout after I missed a dinner reservation for her birthday because I was stuck late at work. She accused me of not caring about her, and I'll admit, I snapped. It was the first time I truly questioned the relationship. The fighting had become so frequent, the emotional toll so heavy, that I realized I didn't feel like myself anymore. So, after a lot of internal conflict and conversations with close friends, I made the decision to break up. I thought it was for the best. We were both at different points in our lives, and it was clear to me that we were both heading in separate directions emotionally. That was 3 months ago. Little did I know, that was only the beginning of a whole new nightmare. About 2 weeks after the breakup, I received a message from Laura. I wasn't surprised, after all. We'd been together for 2 years, and I expected there would be some closure conversations, but I wasn't ready for what happened next. The message was simple. Hey, we need to talk. I've been thinking about everything, and I don't think we've really finished this properly. Please, can we meet? I hesitated for a moment, but I figured, why not? We can meet, talk it out, and move on. I suggested a coffee shop near my apartment, and we agreed to meet up the next day. When I walked into the coffee shop, I found Laura sitting at a table, already looking very serious. I noticed her expression was tight, like she had something major on her mind. We exchanged pleasantries, but I could tell something was off. After a few minutes of small talk, she finally dropped the bombshell. I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I've realized something. You owe me $10,000. I stared at her, completely dumbfounded. Was she joking? I looked at her face, and she was dead serious. I chuckled nervously, thinking maybe it was some kind of weird attempt at humor, but she didn't laugh. Instead, she explained, "I've invested so much in you, in us, and I need to be compensated for it. You wouldn't have made it to where you are today without me." I was in shock. This had to be a jokey, right? "What do you mean, invested?" I asked, still trying to make sense of what she was saying. She then pulled out her phone and opened a spreadsheet. I wish I were exaggerating, but I swear she had an actual spreadsheet, complete with rows and columns, calculating every penny she claimed she had spent on me over the course of our relationship. The way she was talking about it, it sounded like some kind of bizarre business transaction. She said it like I owed her, like she was my investor or something. She listed things like, paid for your rent during that period when you were between jobs, $2,500. Bought you that laptop when yours broke, $1,000. Paid for dinners when you were struggling to save money for your business idea, $200. Bought your plane tickets for our trip to Bali, $2,000. Paid for your new suit for the interview with that startup, $800. Emotional support for your mental health issues, $2,500. At first, I thought it was a misunderstanding. Maybe she was trying to make a point about how much she sacrificed, but she was serious. "This is insane," I said. "I never asked you to do any of this. We were in a relationship. Relationships aren't about keeping track of expenses. You did these things because we cared about each other, not because I owed you money." But she was insistent. She told me that I owed her for everything and that I needed to pay her back. She claimed that without her financial and emotional support, I wouldn't have gotten through some of my toughest moments, like losing my job or my mental health struggles. She truly believed that all of it, every dinner, every gift, every sacrifice she made, was an investment, and now I had to pay up. For the next few days, the situation only got worse. I tried to be patient, but Laura wouldn't stop texting me. At first, they were guilt-tripping texts. "I don't understand how you can be so heartless. After everything I did for you, you're just going to walk away without acknowledging what I sacrificed? I'm not asking for much. You owe me, and I deserve to be compensated for what I did for you." Then the texts turned into threats. "If you don't pay me back, I'll make sure your friends, your family, and even your coworkers know how ungrateful you are. You'll regret this. I'll take you to court for this. You can't get away with this." She sent me a physical letter next, outlining everything again. It was just a longer, more formal version of the same demand, $10,000 or else. That's when I got really scared. I started reaching out to friends and family explaining what was happening. The response I got from them was a mix of disbelief and concern. Some suggested I ignore her completely. Others advised I get a lawyer involved. But honestly, I didn't know what was real anymore. Was this even possible? Could she actually take me to court for something so absurd? A few days later, Laura escalated even further. I started getting messages from her friends, people I barely knew. One of them, a girl named Sophie, sent me a message on Facebook. "You really should pay Laura back for everything. She was there for you when no one else was. You can't just take advantage of her kindness." This turned into a full-fledged social media campaign. People I didn't even know were sending me messages, saying that I was a horrible person for refusing to pay Laura back. Some went as far as to say that I was abusive and selfish. They started tagging me in posts, calling me out in comments. They even created a hashtag, #UsPayLauraBack, pushing the idea that I owed her. Some of her friends even left negative reviews on my professional social media accounts. The whole thing felt like an attack. At this point, I felt like I had no choice but to get professional help. I contacted a lawyer who specializes in personal disputes. When I explained the situation, she was, well, not as concerned as I thought she would be. She actually laughed and told me that Laura was completely out of line. She explained that there was no legal precedent for paying back an ex-partner for any kind of relationship expenses, especially if those expenses were not formalized through some kind of agreement. She assured me there was no way Laura could take me to court for this, and that I shouldn't worry too much. But the emotional toll this was taking on me was huge. It's been a week since I last spoke to Laura, but she's still sending letters and harassing me online. She even showed up at my office once, asking if I was ready to pay up. She's convinced that I owe her, and nothing I say will change her mind. I'm honestly exhausted. I'm afraid she might escalate things further, possibly involving people from my personal life, or spreading even more lies about me. This whole thing is consuming me. I just want it to end. So, what do I do? Is this behavior normal, or have I completely missed something? Should I be more concerned about the legal side, or should I just keep ignoring her? I'm feeling lost and alone in this. I need help.